Holy movie with character development, Batman! Sorry, I had that one stored up for a little while. Hello all. Give me 1 second. A little bit more crowded here than I was in. Well, not that I was anticipating, but you know. So yeah. Just got out of the Lego movie. Or the Lego Batman movie, sorry. This was one that I knew I was probably going to see, but I wasn't real excited about it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think the Lego movie was one of those really surprisingly brilliant films. Really smart, really funny. It had that great sense of what it was like just to be a kid playing with your toys. It had a really nice kind of surprise, poignant ending, you know. And I think, there you go, let this lady go by. When I heard they were going to do another one, I was just kind of like, you know, why? It worked so well just as it was. Why do we need to kind of go back to that well again? And when I found out it was going to be a Batman movie, I was even less interested. Maybe I'm one of the only guys in the world that thinks this, but guys, I'm kind of over Batman. You know, Batman is just one of those characters who there's too much. There's just too much out there, and the more there is out there, the less of it that's good. You know, it's kind of like the Simpsons now. At least for me, the fact that they've been on the air for so damn long just makes the stuff that was good and was brilliant seem sucky in retrospect, because you're just so tired of it. You know, it's all been played out, especially the dark, brooding Batman. And I knew this movie was going to be exactly what it was, this kind of parody of Batman. And, well, I'll start out by saying that I think that is exactly what Batman needed. We haven't had anything like this since the 60s Batman, the one that so many Batman purists hate because it didn't take their precious Batman seriously. You know, instead it treated him like a goofy guy in a costume fighting, you know, funhouse villains, like he frickin' was in the comics. And don't give me this, he was dark and brooding in the comics. No, originally it was a comic book for kids. He fought weird villains. He wore a goofy outfit. Get over yourself. And I think the Batman franchise needed that. It needed something to kind of take the piss out of it a little bit. So anyway, I came and saw this one. Yeah, sorry for getting off on a tangent there, but it is relevant to kind of what I'm going to talk about here. And I liked it. I liked it. But I think some of the things I was a little afraid of did happen. But it's not a bad movie by any stretch. It's fun. It's got a lot of energy. It does that thing of, like I say, poking the holes in Batman really well, but showing that those holes are kind of what make it fun. It also does a really great job of kind of pointing out how, you know, people like to hold Batman up as this greatest superhero ever, and really he's kind of a terrible person and kind of a, you know, kind of a shit human being when you get right down to it. I also think that's, you know, it did, aside from kind of being lighthearted, it did another thing that none of the other Batman movies, recent Batman movies, have done or done well. And again, that's kind of the whole core of it, is talk about the Bat family. You know, I've kind of said for a while now that if they absolutely insist on making another Batman film, it shouldn't be a Batman movie, it should be a Robin movie. You know, they should do a Robin trilogy with the 3 major Robins, because we haven't seen that, or we haven't seen it done well, you know. And it'd be nice to get some, you know, some humanity in there. It's like if you're a fan of the Batman comics, you know, it's not just Batman. There literally is a whole slew of comics called the Batman family with Robin and Nightwing and the Birds of Prey, and for a while there was Azrael. All these other titles that, Batgirl, several Batgirls, and it's like none of the movies want to touch that because they don't want any of that to take away from the seriousness of Batman. He's not cool in this, he's brooding. And this movie takes that concept and kicks it in the nuts and basically says he is still cool, but he's cooler when he has these less dark, less depressing, more fun, and more relatable characters around him. It's kind of been the whole thing about Batman is he's always the most boring thing in everything he's in. You're always more interested in the villains or the side characters. At least I am. So yeah, I think it did a good job of that. Characters like Robin and Barbara Gordon and Alfred, kind of how they are, how they reflect off him, and of course doing it in a parody way, so it's funny and it's entertaining. Here are the things, because this is a positive review. I want you to walk away with that, or in my case, drive away with it. Ba-doom ching. Sorry, it's been a long week. That the film is good and fun and energetic, and it's a little too in love with its soundtrack. Every movie since Guardians of the Galaxy that DC's tried to do, so this one, Suicide Squad, they're too in love with their soundtrack. It's got a different song every 2 seconds there for a while. It's like, okay, calm down. Anyway, but the music is still up, kind of also going in that vein of Everything Is Awesome from the original Lego movie. But here are some things just that keep me from saying that this is a great movie, like its predecessor. And I think number one, one of the reasons the Lego movie was so much better, and I think why I enjoyed it better, is it cast its net a lot wider. And like I said, the great thing about the Lego movie is that it gave you this impression of what it was like to play with toys. Even if you weren't a Lego fan, like I was never a big fan of Legos, but I knew the fun of playing with my toys, and especially in those instances where you mixed genres. For a long time that was the only way you could do that. And in that movie you had Batman teamed up with a unicorn kitty, teamed up with an astronaut. Han Solo stopped by. All these different genres of Harry Potter and the Ninja Turtles and Simpsons, they're all intermixed, and that's what kids do with their toys. I remember me and my cousin Lisa, back when we were kids, would play He-Man meets Barbie, and so it had that great feeling. And so there were a lot of different things that they could parody and make fun of and tease. And this one, because their scope is so narrow, it's just Batman. Not to say there isn't a lot about Batman that you can go at. It's just, it feels so much smaller, and it feels like so many more in-jokes than the other one. The other one felt like you missed this in-joke, you're going to get the next in-joke. If you miss that one, you're going to get the next one. A little bit more Mystery Science Theater. This one is very, Mel Brooks. Not, again, no problem with either one of those, just you got to be a fan of the genre to know. I really appreciated, for instance, in this one, all the references to the Adam West Batman, because that's one of my favorite Batmans. If you had to list my favorite Batman things, it would go Batman the Animated Series, and then the Adam West Show. The Adam West Show may even be on top of that one, because it was my first introduction to Batman. It's where most people's first introductions to Batman were. And it did kind of loving send-ups, the atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed, and all that. So anyway, but still, it still felt like you were still watching a very kind of narrow vision parody. Here's the other thing, and this is a weird one, because again, I liked the movie, and I liked it for the first time. The first time in any of these live action, in any Batman movie in a long time, since Mask of the Phantasm, which most people don't remember, but you should go watch. But anyway, is that we have actual character development from Batman. We have this whole thing about him being afraid to be a part of a family because of what's going to happen if he loses somebody and all that. And and it's really well done. Like, it's never too sappy, but it's, you know, it's just honest enough that you could see somebody projecting themselves onto this character. And again, that's what I really liked about the original Lego movie. And if you haven't seen it, sorry for spoiler alerts here. And this might count as slight spoiler alert for this movie, so be aware. And that is, you know, when we pulled back, everyone kind of knew what was going on in the Lego movie, but it was really neat when you pulled back and saw that the whole thing was happening in the imagination of this kid who was going through this deal of not being able to connect with his dad. And in the end, they're able to connect. And it was a really neat thing. And I really would have liked, and maybe it's too much, but they didn't have that here. And like I say, the emotional connection that was going on, like I say, was just real enough that you could see that it could be some kid, an orphan, or somebody who lost somebody close to them, who was projecting all of this stuff and working through their emotional problems via, you know, via Batman, you know? And I would have liked it, and maybe it would have been a little bit too much like the original. Maybe it would have been like, you know, not letting the film be its own thing. But I would have liked it if they would have done it again and pulled back the curtain and saw that there was some kid who was going through something. And, you know, show that they were working through it with Batman. I think that sends a big message to the kids in the crowd. You know, I know that you sometimes go, oh, we don't want to do that. We want to just have a fun movie for families. And that's great. But you know what? I think it's when you've got their attention that you can slip something in there, because there are a lot of kids that go through stuff like that, you know. And this offered just a beautiful opportunity to show that when you lose someone, there are ways you can handle it. There's this wrong way, which Batman is the wrong way to handle grief, and there's a right way to let people back into, you know, it's part of life, and you know, it's sad, but there's other people out there who will love you. And I think for kids, and even adults who have gone through that, I think seeing that represented on the screen would have been really powerful. And there, you can make an argument that they do that here, but I think it could have been done a little bit more. It could have been done a little better. You know, I think they could have taken that final step off the edge and gone for it. You know, and that's just me, because I really think they had you there, they had it, they had the moment built up to, and it was working pretty well, and then it didn't feel like it had the emotional payoff I was kind of hoping for. You know, again, maybe it was the concept of we just want this one to be fun, or maybe it was the concept of we don't want to beat it over the people's heads, we want it to be a little bit more subtle, or maybe it was, you know, we want this to be its own thing and not just kind of copy the same formula from the Lego movie of, oh, look, another kid is playing with it. But for me, I think you have that format and you have people's attention. I think you should go for it. My opinion. I think you have an obligation, in my opinion, to do that. Apparently, they're doing another one of these with some Ninja toy product I've never heard of. So it'll be, and that one looks funny. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that one. In the end, I liked this movie. I had a good time. You know, it was a good way to kind of end a very long week on the cusp of another long weekend. But I think it could have been just that little bit more, and it would have gone from just being kind of a Batman, Warner Brothers trucking Batman back out because he's their only DC moneymaker. And you know, it could have gone beyond just another thing with Batman's name on it, and it could have been something better. You know, it could have actually elevated the story up again. You know, I'm going to ramble here for a second. Sorry, I'm in traffic. You know, it's 5 o'clock trying to get home. But maybe show why people relate to this character so much. You know, for instance, you know, a lot of people bitch about Robin, bitch about him being included. They make gay jokes and all this other stuff going on. But really, think about when Robin was introduced. Anybody know when Robin was introduced? Robin was introduced just prior, I believe. I could have my years mixed up, and to the draft that was going on, because World War II was about to start. So you have a cold society, and this is again a point when comic books were made for boys. So sorry, ladies, I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying this is the way it was. You have this whole generation of young men whose older brothers, whose fathers, were going off to fight this kind of unseen, unknown evil. So what you had here in Robin originally was a surrogate character that the audience could live vicariously through. I can go and help my dad. I can go and help my brother defeat this bad thing. That's got to be very, that's got to be a very helpless feeling when you're that age at that time, and everyone else is leaving with the possibility of never coming back, and you can't do anything to help to stop it. So again, there's a reason why Robin was created. There's a reason why that character has stood up, and I think that same thing can be true of Batman. Same thing with Spider-Man. Why is Spider-Man so popular? It's because of the flaws. It's because he's an imperfect character, and we all relate to that. So anyway, got off on a tangent here, but I just think they had an opportunity, and they could have gone for it. But still, that all being said, that all being true, it is kind of sad that this is probably the most character development we've got out of Batman in a film since, oh God, when was Mask of the Phantasm? That was back in the 90s. That was back in 1990. I'm going to say anywhere between 94 and 96. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, definitely more character development than you ever got in any of the movies, any of the live action films of the recent years. So I enjoyed it. If you're a comic book Batman fan, you're going to enjoy it even more. Good movie, just missed being great. So that's me. I'll be back later with another one of these. So until then, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.